Well, as more politicians continue to defect to the ruling or governing All Progressives Congress, with Governor Peter Mbah of Enugu State being the latest. I'm now joined by Majeed. Dahiru is a political affairs analyst. Thank you so much for joining us on the news tonight.
Thank you very much.
Preceding that report, we did see a report about the PDP itself in court today with some top political leaders of the party, yet they were not able to decide on a lawyer, on a matter that concerns the roots, the heart of the party, the National Elective Convention that's barely, weeks away. But let's come to the matter on ground, which is the defection, the gale of defection, particularly with Governor Peter Mbah of Enugu State. You listen to the governor.
Of course.
When he says this is to align with the center and to benefit from the center, what exactly does that mean? Because he's not the first to say that. We've heard that from the Delta State governor, who also defected from PDP to APC. We heard it from the Akwa Ibom State governor as well. What do they mean by benefiting from the center?
And that is what are they benefiting that other states are not benefiting?
Exactly.
Okay, well, politically, when you belong to the ruling party, you have access to the president, you belong to the national caucus of the ruling party. Perhaps there could be some interpersonal relationships between the president and some of the governors within his party that sometimes could smoothen certain kind of relationship between states and the federal government. But that as an aside, before he talked about a connection to the center, he said something about the Southeast, Enugu specifically, being a very loyal and consistent support base for the PDP since 1998, and that at the end of the day, their voices were not heard. The party kind of disregarded the region, took the region for granted, and so that forms part of the reasons why he and some other people from that region are actually living into the ruling APC. And I think that for me is the most important reason why the PDP has lost influence, not just in the south, but across the southern part of this country. And in the prelude to the 2022 presidential primaries of the PDP, I had written extensively, well circulated, well publicized opinion articles, where we cautioned the PDP against the idea of jettisoning zoning of the presidency to the south by 2023, by leaving open its contestation for the presidency because of the winnability factor, which saw Atiku Abubakar taking the ticket of the PDP. We had warned that if the PDP does not zone to the south, and specifically to the southeast, that the party was going to run into troubled waters and sink into oblivion in the post-Buhari era. And that seems to be happening. So whatever crisis you are seeing in the PDP today, particularly the one happening in court today, is simply a symptom of a deeper ailment. You see, the violation of zoning in the PDP was like a mortal sin that the PDP committed. And when he did that, of course, the good book says the wages of sin is death. The southern part of this country has been the most consistent support base for the PDP, especially when it fell from power in 2015. The southeast particularly was like the lifeblood, the oxygen that kept the PDP afloat. At the time that there was a strong agitation, 17 southern governors met in Asaba to say, look, we want the presidency to shift to the south. Expectedly, the APC is made up of an alliance between the north and the southwest, led by the current president, Bola Tinubu, who was then the leader of the opposition. But the PDP is an alliance between some sections of the north and the south, and especially the southeast. So one would have expected that while the APC would gravitate towards the southwest, coming to the south, the PDP should have gravitated towards the southeast, coming to the south as well. So in this instance, people like Atiku Abubakar and others from the north should have mobilized support towards the southeast. And in this instance, the party was so fortunate that they had a candidate, or an aspirant, a figure then in the PDP, who was so phenomenally popular ahead of even the presidential primaries, that everybody thought common sense. He ticks all the boxes. He's from the right part of the country. He has the qualities that has been able to galvanize and inspire such a level of followership as you've not seen before in Nigerian politics. And I'm talking about Mr. Peter Obi.
And they lost the chance.
They lost that chance. And they lost the southeast in the process. Look, you might be looking at the campaign today. Let me tell you something. Anambra State, which used to be a hotbed of PDP politics, had its governorship primaries some months ago, nobody, not one single individual, picked the form to contest for the primaries on the platform of the PDP.
Do you see a situation where more states would defect, more governors would defect to the APC?
Definitely. Let me say this. Okay. You see, when Atiku happened to the PDP, the PDP developed two problems. One was benign, one was malignant. The benign problem was Peter Obi. So he simply left the party quietly, and he appropriated the entire support base of the party in the South-South, in the South-East, in Lagos, and parts of the Middle Belt.
Okay.
But the malignant problem is Wike, who has remained in the party, to say, look, I'm going to be here to slug it out. He has declared support for the president, who is of the APC extraction, while he's remaining in the PDP, meaning it will be in his interest to see that the PDP is either in crisis perpetually, weakened and unable to stand up to the ruling party because he has declared support for that party. So he's staying in the party to make sure that the kind of crisis you are seeing, including the one you saw today in court,
all right, persists. So you don't think that he's a spoiler within?
Deliberately so, and justifiably so.
Let's go back to this issue of, governors who are elected on a particular party platform, then up and go to another party, and they insist that it is in alignment and in sync with the central for the benefit of the people. Because questions are, is it really about the people or for self-preservation? Defections like this have become routine in Nigerian politics. Do you think, for instance, if the law mandated that if you defect, you lose your seat, do you think that would solve the problem?
Okay, let me put it this way. You see, ordinarily, there's a reason why defections in Nigeria happen without any form of consequence. And I'll tell you why. Nigerian politics is not ideologically driven at all. Absolutely not. It's about power grab for self-service, essentially. And so, there's a little or no difference between Party A or Party B. Absolutely no difference. So, in this instance, talking about or making maybe a molehill, maybe making a mountain to a molehill or somebody move from one party to the other is a little bit misplaced, because what is actually specifically, ideologically different or distinct about the PDP, for instance, that he has just left? What is there? That's not difference. I saw the Senate president, who was chanting APC and progress and Imba and progress. He was a founding member of the PDP. Today, he's Senate president on platform of the APC, and he speaks as though he has not been in PDP before. So there's really no difference at all. So I don't really get bothered when people move from one party to the other in Nigeria. But there's one party, ordinarily, that people should have been bothered about in this instance, not the PDP.
What party is that?
The Labour Party. You know why? Unlike the PDP and the APC, that are essentially establishment parties, where they rely on structure and heavy funding to win elections. From the delegate elections to the primary elections, you have to buy delegates. You go to the polling unit, you buy votes. So these ones are businessmen. So usually when they move from one party to the other, I don't see it as a problem. But for the Labour Party, that was propelled by people power to cause disruptions in the strongholds of even these establishment parties, and people fired out and voted for them under the rain and under the sun for free. And they got to the National Assembly, became the third largest party in the National Assembly, went away with one state, and became very formidable in a matter of months. And this group of people have been decamping from the Labour Party to the APC. That should have been the one that should have raised the most concern, because they have no basis to have done that. But if I buy my vote, if I spend money to be governor on the platform of PDP, and I decide to leave to APC to seek for greener pasture, that for me isn't really much of a problem. But for a party, I say this because we miss the chance to have consolidated on our democracy. The kind of concerns you have, the Nigerian people put in all their best, they sacrificed, they defy all odds to give rise to a party that ordinarily the members should have been disciplined enough not to have done what members in the PDP or APC would have done.
But it does speak to the bigger issues, and in fact, even more concerns. If the Labour Party, as you put it, is a people-structured party, and yet we see those they voted into power defect, that's even more concerning than the parties you say they spend so much money to get into power. Majeed Dahiru, political affairs analyst, thank you so much for your insights on this story tonight. We do appreciate it.